What is up, everybody? Welcome to an early edition of Dudes Who Bet Daily. Apologize in advance for the early show today, but we got Somich out in Vegas doing things. We got Magic. He can never be around on Sundays with kids. Jared's got kids. I've got a flight, so we've got to get this done early today, Papa Dude. We didn't want to skip it, though. We're here for the people.
Yeah, we are. I don't know why. We're kind of in a slump. It might have been a good day to skip it.
Well, our best bets are in a slump. That's for
yes,
sure.
they are.
I feel like each day we come on here, we do pretty well with the rundown, and then we get the best bets, and we don't do well. So
we're very entertaining, also. So
well, we like to.
We'll try our best again today.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's kick it off with a little bit of a recap here. The Derby prep action from yesterday. Very, very fun races yesterday. Derma Sotogate wins the UAE Derby. We won't talk much about him because it's just really tough to get a read on him, but or any horse that's coming in for that UAE Derby. Horses just don't run well in the Kentucky Derby after running there. And I will say, the way the Japanese are winning every international race possible, we'll see. He'll come over with a big shot. But let's get to the American racing. Let's start with the Louisiana Derby. Kings Barnes, we talked about him a little bit. He sure ran awfully well. I didn't love his prize, Papa Dude, but I really liked his performance. It was solid.
Yeah, he was solid, and we thought he was sneaky coming into this race, a typical move by the trainer. You know, we've seen this guy do this for years. And now the key will be, how much improvement does he make from now till he runs in the Derby? And if he takes another giant step, I think you got to consider him. I really do. So, of course, the major story is what happened to the favorite.
Yeah, exactly. So a 95 buyer speed figure for Kings Barnes, and very, very impressive effort. Goes off to the Derby now 3 for 3. And we'll see. I mean, he's making the logical progression from a buyer standpoint. If you believe in those, it's interesting. He's kind of been built up. He got a 74 on debut, then he got an 85. And now he got a 95 yesterday. So pretty nice effort for Kings Barnes. And you're right, the favorite just nowhere to be found. Instant Coffee doesn't fire any kind of race at all. The Steve Asmussen trainee, Disarm, we thought both of his horses were a little bit sneaky in this spot. Mm-hmm. Disarm ran really well. Gets up the rail, gets second. Shopper's Revenge, not bad either, gets fourth. What did you think of Disarm's effort? It wasn't
well, I read what he said afterwards, and he was really high on the way he ran. So I'm sure he'll probably be in the Derby. I think he said he was going to be. He's got enough points, right?
Yeah.
I got him enough points to get in.
Hopefully. So. I mean, you don't know for sure, but hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure he'll get him going. And, but, can't really like somebody till they start winning a few. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. And, but we've found in the last few years, there's big upsets when the Derby comes along. Other than the one, Forte, man, right now it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. And with Instant Coffee, Mark makes a good point. I mean, the pace didn't really materialize much at all yesterday, which was surprising. I thought there would be some horses go up there and try to press a little bit more than they did, but they didn't. And when that happens, it's hard for a closer to win those races.
What I'm going to say about this, though, if he's a Kentucky Derby horse, if he is a Triple Crown horse, he figures out a way to win. I hate that excuse. I absolutely hate that excuse.
I don't think it's a bad thing for Kings Barnes more than it was a bad thing for the horses behind him. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, come on. You're not going to get the pace. You're going to get beat. You're supposed to be a Triple Crown horse. I'm sorry. I don't buy that at all.
Instant Coffee, if he runs up second, it's a little bit different as well. He was nowhere to be found. So,
no.
It was disappointing from him for sure. But that's what they do. Sometimes they disappoint you.
They do.
Let's go to Two Phils. I thought he was the best horse running yesterday as far as performance for a 3-year-old. I thought it was just absolutely fantastic. The problem is it was over the synthetic surface at Turfway Park. And so that is the scary thing about Two Phils. But you've talked about him and you really liked him yesterday. And you said it. He shows up, right?
I like horses. Yeah. I like horses you can kind of predict a little bit. He's going to be in the top 4. So when you're up there every time in that situation, you're going to win one every once in a while if you're good, and he is. And he proved it yesterday, but of course, I don't know how strong the field was. We don't know all of that. And like you said, synthetic. How will that transfer over to the other?
Yeah.
So there's lots of question marks, but that's the way this always is. There's question marks about all of them.
Yeah.
So, but I really like this horse because I like that consistency. They're bringing it every time. It's just, does he have enough talent to go all the way?
I'll go to Mark's comment. I totally agree with this comment Mark makes here. And Hard Spun, a horse that was in that first crop that I ever followed. And he was the same. He knew what he was going to do, hard trying. He wasn't curling. He wasn't, street sense, but he was right there,
Yeah. And I think this is kind of where we stand with this horse. What I want to, it's always so sketchy for me. What if this was a Baffert horse? What if this was a Pletcher horse? What if this was even a Cox horse? Bill Mott, would we be thinking different?
Well, I mean, you think about that, and Botanical, who is a Cox horse that's a synthetic monster, I think people do think differently. I think people are thinking, hey, this Botanical, she'll go to the dirt and be fine. So, yeah, absolutely. And the question that Christopher asked, what odds do you think Two Phils will go off at Derby Day? Shotty might be right. He's got the name Phil, and I think a lot of Phils will bet him, and I think he'll go a little bit lower than probably what he should be. You laugh, but on Derby Day, that is a thing.
It's crazy stuff. Yeah. Because on Derby Day, you get all the bettors. I mean, not just the experts like we think we are. You get every goofball there is bets on Derby Day. If they're where they can bet, they do. So all the Phils will definitely bet for Two Phils. That's exactly right. I never thought of that.
Yeah. So that'll be something.
Yeah.
I tell you what, if you want to play him, to me, he's going to be a lock to make my underneath tickets. I just feel it, and to Papa Dude's point, forget about the synthetic. He was great. Okay. So, but he's there. He's just there. Every race
he's on dirt. Yeah. So I don't think he'll be 8-1 at the best, I think. Don't you?
Yep. I agree with that.
And again, we can't really say anything right now. We don't know what the posts are. So you can't even talk about the Derby till they draw.
No, trust me. You can talk about it and people will watch. But
you're on that one. You're just purely speculating till they draw.
But they will watch it and they like to talk about it.
Oh, I know. That's what makes it fun.
Since we're on it, let's just go opposite of what we normally do. Let's go to the race of the day here, which is the Sunland Derby. We're scratched down to a field of 6. Fort Bragg going to scratch out of this and run in the Florida Derby, which interesting decision, I would say. But field of 6 now. The favorite's going to be a Bob Baffert horse, interesting enough. Number 6, hard to figure. He can't earn Derby points. The rest of these can. What do you think?
I think of him.
I think you've got a tornado going through there with your.
Oh, sorry. I've put my paper over the microphone here. I quit doing that. I don't know. I would say this probably is Baffert's 5th or 6th string horse, I would say. Wouldn't you? Mm-hmm. And I don't think he's great. I think he can be beat in this race. So if you want to take a shot at a favorite, I think this might be the race to do it. Probably has ran in better races than some of these others, with the exception of the Asmussen horse, who's running all kinds of stakes races, has a lot of experience over the other ones. Could he come out and win? Why not? Can't really pick him, though. You almost have to go with a Baffert, so you might want to put him on top, then figure out how you can go around and maybe get some value. I like the 5 horse a lot. 1 in Vermilion, 3 straight wins. Don't understand why he couldn't win this race. I don't think that favorite is that good. And I like the 4 horse also. So I think I would just, I don't know. If I was at the track, I'd probably throw some money on the 5 and see if I could get a price and see if he could win. So I think I'd go 5-6-4.
5-6-4 for you. I'll go 6-4-5. I do think the 5 is interesting. It's got a price. You still got the hurricane going on over there, but I do like the Baffert horse a bit here. But I'm going to see how this thing is bet. That's going to be really interesting. If he takes a ton of money, I think the 4 Henry Q is really interesting. But I'm afraid he's going to take a lot of money too. So I don't really know. I'm going to see how this race is bet, but I think the 4 Henry Q has a lot of talent. Winning that last race last time out here at Sunland by 14 3/4 lengths. That's pretty
Yeah.
damn impressive. So we'll see. I like the 4 a little bit here. I do like the 6. I like the 5. So we're on the same 3 horses. As far as Todd Finchner has been trying to get horses into the Derby, kind of using this route. I think this would be a really good story if he wins this. He's owned by the Del Mar Group. That's a lot of different people involved. Head coach at UCLA, Nick Cronin, is involved with this. So maybe he could have a little bit of a happier day today after getting beat at the buzzer the other day. So Henry Q would love to see him win. Of course, Baffert can't go no matter what. So it doesn't really matter what he does. Any final thoughts on the Sunland Derby before we go on?
No, I'm done with it. I think it'll be a good race, though.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I don't think the Kentucky Derby. I don't think the Kentucky Derby winner's coming out of this one, though.
No. I think that is safe to say. I agree. All right, let's get to the basketball now. We'll go through a couple of basketball games, a hockey game, and our best bet here. Creighton -2.5 today against San Diego State. Boy, it was a tough day for a couple of favorites. It's been a tough tournament for a lot of favorites. I'll just say that. Here we got a favorite here in Creighton. And spoiler alert, it's your best bet as well. You're going the other way. Tell us why.
Well, basically because I've been chalk and I can't get them right. So I'm going to go the other way this time. Not sold on Creighton totally. San Diego State proved a lot to me the other night against Alabama. Did they leave it all out on the floor? That's the thing. Can they get themselves back in to where they need to beat a good Creighton team? Because sometimes when you knock off those number ones, you have a little hangover afterwards. But I just think their coach is pretty seasoned. They're seasoned. You got a shot to go to the Final Four. Surely to God, you're going to get yourself back up ready to play this game. And not only that, you have a great shot to get to the national championship. And again, I'm going to take another shot at the committee. I bet they're really proud of their brackets, aren't you? Because you look at these games, you've had Gonzaga and UCLA in a Sweet 16. Mm-hmm. Then you had UConn and Gonzaga in an Elite 8. Why? Because you're stupid and you put them in the same bracket. And now you've got Texas, and you would have had Texas and Houston. The bracket, there's a reason why Florida Atlantic, and I'm not taking anything, man, they are fun to watch. They are. They just throw daggers at you. Mm-hmm. You think you've got them where you want them, and boom, they'll knock down a 3 out of nowhere, and they are sneaky tough. And how about that kid going to the line and hitting 4 straight pressure-packed free throws? For a school that's never been close to being here. And he was just as cool as he could be, and just chunk, 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 and there they went. Oh, my hat's off to him. I hope they win it. I'm rooting so hard for them. I think they got a great coach. So I just think San Diego State's a little better. I do. I love the way they play defense. And they stopped Alabama. They stuffed them. They're long inside, and they are active. I think they're going to frustrate the crap out of Creighton. So I'm going to go with the Aztecs, and, man, we're going to have a San Diego State, Florida Atlantic semifinal. That'll be pretty cool, won't it?
Not so fast, though, Papa Dude. I'm with Mr. Pedlo. Give me Creighton today. I think Creighton beats San Diego State. Listen, I have been super impressed with Creighton all tournament long, as with San Diego State. I just think Creighton might get them. And like you said, who would have thought? Creighton versus Florida Atlantic in a Final Four game, or San Diego State versus Florida Atlantic in a Final Four game. One of these teams is going to the national title. San Diego State, Creighton, Florida Atlantic. One of them will play for the national championship. That's incredible.
I'll just make one argument.
Okay.
I didn't know Alabama couldn't shoot. I didn't know that. They couldn't shoot Friday night.
Yeah.
Because they had big old long arms in their face. There you go. That's my rebuttal.
All right. Well,
I wouldn't be surprised if Creighton wins. They are good.
You know what the good news is? We're on opposite sides. One of us will win.
Well, that's true. Absolutely. I like that. That's a good thought. It's a good thought.
All right, let's move on here. I got a plane to catch.
I know you
Miami
do.
against Texas here. Both these teams have really been good. I have been dead wrong on Miami this whole tournament. They
Yep.
continue to play very well. Texas, I've been right on. I thought they would play really well, and they have. Here we go. Texas, a 4-point favorite here. Who gets this other Final Four spot?
Well, I don't know how Miami can play any better than they did Friday night. They were awesome. They just knocked the bottom out of it. They hit 3 after 3. They stifled Houston, frustrated them. Very impressive performance. Texas, likewise. They really have been good. This whole tournament really haven't been tested much. So these are two really good teams. It's a shame one of them's going to go down. 4 points might be a little too much. I was tempted to take Texas. I should have taken them Friday night just outright to win. I mean, to end the points because that was my first thought. I'm going to take them again today. I think they're a little better, but I'm rooting my butt off for Miami, but I think Texas is going to win.
Well, like I said, it is a matchup for me of a team that I've gotten wrong and a team that I've gotten right. I will stick with the team I've been getting right. I'll take Texas today. They're going to be part of my best bet. We'll talk about that in just a second. Okay. So I'm going to take the Longhorns today as well. And it sets up, you're going to have UConn versus either Texas or Miami. I mean, that's a feasible – you could have got there.
Oh, yeah. So definitely.
One side of the bracket makes sense. The other one has been wild.
Chaos. And you know what? Even if Creighton wins, it's Creighton against Florida Atlantic. I don't think very many people would have picked that.
Well, no. That's why I said earlier. I said you've got a matchup in the Final Four that's just – it doesn't seem possible that could have happened. But it's going to happen. I mean, there's no avoiding it now. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to the ice real quick before we go to the best bets. The Bruins in Carolina tonight. I think it's today, actually. I think it's 2 o'clock maybe. I don't know. I can't remember the time. But Carolina at home got a big win. I told you guys they beat the Maple Leafs. I told you to go over. Come on, you guys playing the under in that game. Just kidding. I just got lucky on that one. But
I got
Carolina,
the over.
What's that?
I got the over.
Well, that's true. You did too. Yeah, that stupid Somich isn't here today. He was.
I'm trying.
Anyway. Carolina and the Bruins. Who you got?
Oh boy, this is. I think this might be an under. Don't you?
Over. I don't know. Probably under. Probably
Well,
under.
how about a first period under?
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
Yeah, I think this is.
The game should be low scoring. The Bruins last night played Tampa in a 2-1 game. It should be a low scoring game. Yeah.
Yeah, this is playoff hockey right here.
Yep.
These are two teams that have these are the two best teams in the league statistically, points wise. So, I mean, they're going to want to make a statement in this game, I think. And I think it'll be played like a playoff game. Both of these teams are very good defensively. So I went Carolina simply because they're at home and they were at home last night and Boston has to travel. I don't know if that matters. I'm going to go 2-1 Carolina over the Bruins.
All right, 2-1 Carolina over the Bruins. I'll go 3-1. Come on, Papa, dude. Give them that easy better. 3-1 Carolina. I picked the Hurricanes today as well. They had a big injury. They're kind of they staggered from that for a while, but they've kind of turned the page from that. So, give me Carolina. By the way, are the Blues going to win and get over 500 tonight?
No.
Oh, okay.
The Kings will beat them, but the Kings might beat them even if we were good. So I'm really impressed with the Blues. They're on a drive to save our coach's job, which we need to do, and I'm proud of them. That was a good win last night. And they're playing good again. So there we go.
People are always all over Doug Armstrong, our general manager.
Yeah.
And all he did was win a Stanley Cup and make us competitive year after year. And yes, we got in a bad situation. We weren't very good this year. We traded superstar players.
Yeah.
And then the guys we got are scoring more goals than those superstar players are.
And our superstars weren't playing up to their capabilities.
Andy Blake has 8 goals since he's been traded for the Blues. Vladimir Tarasenko has 4 for the Rangers.
Yeah. Absolutely. And the other thing is, I know you got to go real quick. Mm-hmm. Sometimes when you have 2 players that are legends in St. Louis, and deservedly so. And they are in their contract years. This happens.
Yeah.
This happens.
Yeah.
It just does. There's pressure on them. There's pressure on the organization. The rumors are all over the place. We're not going to be able to keep them both.
Yep.
They knew that, and it just implodes. It just goes, and that's what happened. I think we just had this undercurrent through the team. They weren't playing very well, neither one of the players, and it affected the entire team. And now, after a little bit of a mourning period and getting adjusted to not having them, now this team is straightened out, and they're beginning to play a little bit.
The biggest thing, and we'll go on because nobody but us probably cares about the Blues, but unless Mark's still on here. But the biggest thing, the Blues didn't play a Berube style hockey.
No, they did not.
But guess what? Now they are, because I think you're right. I think they had locker room problems.
They did.
I think it was just time to make this change. They tried to hold on a year, have one more run. It didn't work. Now they've retooled, and you know what? We're playing hockey like Berube coach teams. We're hitting, we're fighting, and we're a tough team again. We were paper soft, and now we're tougher again. So,
yeah, and Mark makes a great point. I've said this all along. Mm-hmm. You got to get over the cup. It's over. It's been a long time since we won it.
Yeah.
And we have to move on. Yep. Those players are 3-4 years older than they were when we won the cup. So that's a great point.
All right, let's move on here. I'll go ahead and put the best bets on the screen. I haven't told mine yet. I'll tell mine real quick.
All right.
I got the parlay with the LSU women.
Oh, good.
And the Texas men money
line plus 100. Hate them both.
I love LSU. I love Kim Mulkey, best coach in the country. She's going to try to take LSU to the Final Four. She took Baylor to the Final Four, of course, won national championships. She's got LSU one game away today. I think they get it done. They're 9.5-point favorites. That may be a little high. I didn't want to lay 9. What's that?
Who they got today?
Gosh. I had it, and then I exited out of it. I don't even know. I just like Kim Mulkey. Let's see.
It's a good pick.
They have. I know Louisville and Iowa play. Who was it? Oh, they play Miami. Forget it. I'm going against Miami twice.
You are.
Give me LSU here. I think they get it done. I like them. Texas, we'll see. I've got the Longhorns here. I think this is going to be a much tougher game than the first one, but I'm going to go against Miami twice.
Yeah.
Give me LSU. Give me Texas. Give me that money line plus 100. What do you think of that one?
I love the pick. I hate the teams. So it would be very difficult for me to sit there and watch these and root for them because I hate them both. But
I have Iowa picked here today as well. So I'm with you. I think Iowa gets it done and beats Louisville today. I think they're only laying 5, Iowa. So you might look at that. I think they're a much better team than Louisville. Anyway, go ahead and tell your best bet one more time. We'll get out of here.
Well, I like San Diego State today because I'm just going to go opposite of what I've been doing. I think this is going to be a classic game. I would love to see San Diego State and Florida Atlantic in the Final Four. I think that would perk it up a little bit. To me, I don't think we have very sexy Final Four shaping up. I'd rather see San Diego State and Florida Atlantic instead of Creighton and Florida Atlantic. And I think this team is pretty good. So I'm going to go with the Aztecs to pull off the upset today over Creighton.
All right. And I don't really like LSU. I don't really like Texas. So the good news is if this loses, I can just smile and say, well, good. No, I do like
And the other good news, you're going to be in the air.
Yeah, I will. I've got a 3 overlay hour in LaGuardia.
Okay.
Be able to watch the Texas game.
Yeah, that's at 4. It'd be 5 their time.
I would say by the time I land, the first one will be over. So, so we'll see. We'll see. Go Aztecs for you. All right, we're going to get off of here, guys. I got to catch a flight. Thanks for joining us. Sorry we had to come on a little bit early, but I appreciate everybody coming on. We still had a pretty good crowd. Hopefully, if you are tuning in at 11, you'll just tune in and be like, oh, it's already done, and you can watch it that way.
That's right.
All right, guys. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and we will see you next week. I will be on vacation, but I will be on the shows. Come on. I'll be live from New York, live from Uncle Vito's bar. So we'll see you next week.